Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. Today we have a requested video. People have been asking me to do a video on cleaning out the parts washer the next time I had to do it. And by the looks of her, she's overdue a clean. So that's what this is today. A video on the parts washer. So in case anybody's not familiar with these here, this is just a very simple device. Basically, it's just a bath with a wee circulating pump. That's it. It's basically just a bath filled with a cleaning fluid. In this case, kerosene. Now you do actually get cleaning fluid for parts washers, but for all I'd be doing cleaning grease, kerosene does a great job. Now some people might use diesel on it, not always kerosene or else actual parts washer cleaner, but diesel a little bit dirtier and has a worse smell. So generally I find kerosene that a little bit better. Gets rid of the grease, breaks it down very well, cleans the parts really well as well, plus there's less odour of it for actually sitting in here in the workshop all the time. Plus, it's very cheap. Kerosene, 25 litre drum, probably going to cost you about 20 or 30 euro. So it's not expensive, plus it's very easy to actually get. So the washer itself is just a steel bath. Up in the corner here is a wee circulating pump that's plugged into the mains. That is just recirculating the liquid in the bath. So the pump is actually sitting in the fluid itself. There's a little filter at the front. Pump's running, just pumping the fluid up here into the tray, cleaning whatever it is. It runs down at the bottom, then just gets recirculated into the pump again. So it's just constantly going round and round. Because there's that much in it, generally it's going to settle at the bottom. Filters down along the side, nice and gently, so all the sediment sits on the bottom. The pump's a little bit higher up than the base, so it's just clean kerosene, always get into it. But when they start getting into this kind of a state, it ain't putting out all that cleaner fluid. Generally, even there's the tray here, you take off every once in a while and scrape off all the gunk. I haven't even got a chance to do that over the last few weeks, just to get everything read up before the holidays there. But it's overdue this clean, so that's what we're doing today. Actually got through quite a few things the last three days after the holidays, so a lot of free time to get this done. Never have enough paintbrushes on here for getting into wee tight spaces and doing different jobs. So we tray I keep on whenever I'm using thinners, paint thinners. If something's very bad, I put a wee bit of thinners into this here to help clean off the stuff, especially like the Bosch hammers or maybe past load guns, the new IM360s. Put a bit of that in there and it helps clean off anything. But nasty stuff to be breathing on. It's not great inside of here. That's just a wee sanding block. Hopefully that one's done. That one's not as bad. Keep that. Just for the stubborn bits, you can use a sanding block to clean it off. That's gone. That's an old gear of a Bosch 5. That's gone too. Down here, it's actually a tea towel. This is what I have on the bench here, just whenever I take things out of the parts washer. It sits on this towel to drip dry for a bit before I take it out the back. I use a compressor to help dry it. How do we wring out? Just give that a wring out and reuse that. Like this. Get rid of some of that liquid. This tray needs to be lifted off. All the gunk scraped off it onto the bin. Taking a bit long with that. Just gives it a lot of clean as well. Soften all this stuff off before we get rid of the old fluid. And also clean down the sides, especially this here shelf here the actual tray sits on. So we bits and pieces get stuck in that. This hose actually broke there the other week. It's leaking. Couldn't get any fluid to actually come out the top of it. It was all spraying out down here. So I had to fix that. You can actually buy it on its own from the Draper, but it costs like 50 quid. So instead I actually just dismantled this and fixed it up. All it is a wee bit of fuel line inside of here. There's just a flexible hose for positioning it. The actual spray comes out of a rubberized tube inside. So it actually snapped down here. So pull this all off. You pull out the old tube. There's just two wee brass fittings at either end. You actually get the brass fittings back onto a bit of new fuel line. Stick it all back together. Does the job. Awkward, but an easy fix. There's where my file went it. I've been looking for that. Little flat file. And that's another old paintbrush. I think that one could be dumped. I'm also going to clean this pump. Out the lead. There's two wee screws here holding the front on. Pull that out and just get that inside a wee clean. Inside it's just a wee piece of cloth basically for filtering out gunk. That'll do. And to actually empty it, underneath, little valve. Now obviously this isn't the first time this has been done, so the knob's actually broken off. Open that up. Obviously have a bucket underneath to catch everything. And then once it's opened, the actual hole will probably be blocked. Because let's face it, this is just full of gunk, grease, grit, sand, O-rings, bits and pieces, bits of metal and swarf. So the hole will get blocked. Now, let that empty out. But every now and again you'll have to go over and give it another little poke to make sure it keeps flowing. Obviously that yellow bucket's not going to hold all of this, so you might have to take 2 or 3 trips to empty it all out. What I like to do is fill up the bucket with all the liquid stuff and then put that into a container and let that sit for a little while. And the last bit then, when it's all going to be full of all the gunk, put that into the bucket at the end, and that's the stuff for properly dumping and getting rid of. If it gets too low and I don't have any more fluid left, I'll actually go back to the first drum they took out that's well settled and use that there to top up the parts washer. It's still perfectly good for cleaning, there's nothing wrong with it. It can help the stuff actually get round again. Plus, if you put on fresh stuff, it's very, very liquid. It actually sprays and splashes an awful lot. So if you want to thin it down, you can also add on some of the old stuff as well. And that'll help actually make the liquid that little bit more viscous and stops it splashing around so much. Dump that into this. And there'll be plenty of gunk left inside of it. There's more paintbrushes again. This is where you find all the... There's my missing screwdriver. The weirder one too. Keep that. Yeah, they're sitting in a bucket of kerosene, and wee hot screwdrivers don't fall apart. The rubber doesn't even swell. Fantastic job. Now, this should be the last batch. This is where it gets very, very gooey. There's no spud brush or wire brush for cleaning the healthy guns. Keep that too. Now, you can get all the goo down the hole. Another paintbrush, a fine one. As you can see, the further down you go, the thicker it gets. This is generally that thick, it will take a while to empty. You want to give it a good mix up. The really thick stuff's at the bottom, and if you don't mix it, it's going to be too thick to get down that hole. Give it a good stir. And that's it. Cleaned out. Now, one thing you need to make sure you do is close this valve again, or it'll be a disaster. You put the new fluid in, and also get rid of this muck. Now we can rebuild the pump. And put your wee filter back on. Slide that into place. And that hook onto the side of the tank again. And lastly, the shelf. Now, last question I get an awful lot is the tartan rags. What is with the tartan rags? And why do I always use these? Very simple. Just up the road a little bit, there used to be a shirt factory here in the town, and they would have manufactured cotton shirts, grandfather shirts, stuff like that. So these are actually offcuts of the brushed cotton they used for making the shirts. So there were loads of these here at a stage. Now sadly the factory's no longer there. It actually shut down about a year or so ago, but there were still plenty of these rags lying about, so I have a bag of them still in the shed for cleaning machines. But once that bag's gone, that's the end of the tartan rags. Now the kerosene just comes from an oil tank. Generally I get it out, just a wee cheap pump off of Amazon. Just a little transfer pump. Dump it in there and hook it up to a battery. Put it in and switch it on. Very cheap little pump, but very effective. Plus, because there's a switch, you don't just have to yank off the leads from the battery. You can just switch it off whenever it's full. Normally we have a drum sitting here spare, but it wasn't full the last time this tank was filled. So always keep a wee pump here just in case you have to replenish it. That'll do. Just let that excess run back in. And let that drip dry for a bit. And then finally, actually a satisfying bit, pulling it back up again. Nice, fresh, clean kerosene. Lovely job. Now the tool I always like to clean out first after cleaning the parts washer is the one that gets the most use, the one that's used in here all the time in the workshop and is most deserving a good clean. Screwdrivers. These are used daily, obviously get very grubby. All started first. The chance to soak in. And give them a good old clean. That's one of the original ones. These are a new set. And there's a few of the original ones in, probably about 15 or 20 years old. You tell the difference. The new ones have the wee haw written on there. These ones just had it on this here wee piece. These are PH2s and PH1, and the big flat. Still like brand new. Them things are about 15 or 20 years old. These here are what, 2 or 3 years old. That's the one that was in the bottom of the bucket, inside all the gunk. And this one is the big flat. This gets the most work in the workshop. Not as a screwdriver, nor as a pry bar. That and a mallet. That's why that rubber's all cut. I use this as a soft mallet for beating things out as well. And that thing gets a lot of use. That's it. The good wee haw screwdrivers cleaned up again. Anyway folks, that's it. That is the parts washer itself, completely washed out and cleaned, and new fluid put into it. All ready to clean out the next batch of old machines coming in for repair. So, hope you enjoyed it folks. Hope that's what you are looking for. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of what the parts washer actually is, how it works, and what's actually used in it for cleaning. Anyway folks, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Chat to you later. Give us a wee like and a follow at the bottom there folks if you're enjoying the videos. Cheers!